sense does the Greek chaos resonate in the French situation. An uprising here cannot be the simple transposition of what happened over there. Global civil war still has its local specificities. In France, a situation of generalized rioting would provoke an explosion of another tenor. The Greek rioters are faced with a weak state while being able to take advantage of a strong popularity. One must not forget that it was against the regime of the colonels that, only 30 years ago, democracy reconstituted itself on the basis of a practice of political violence. This violence, whose memory is not so distant, still seems intuitive to most Greeks. Even the leaders of the Socialist Party have thrown a Molotov or two in their youth, yet classical politics is equipped with variants that know very well how to accommodate these practices and to extend their ideological rubbish to the very heart of the riot. If the Greek battle wasn't decided and put down in the streets, the police being visibly outflanked there, it's because its neutralization was played out elsewhere. There is nothing more draining, nothing more fatal than this classical politics, with its dried-up rituals, its thinking without thought, its little closed world. In France, our most exalted socialist bureaucrats have never been anything other than shriveled husks filling up the halls of the assembly. Here everything conspires to annihilate even the slightest form of political intensity, which means that it is always possible to oppose the citizen to the delinquent in a quasi-linguistic operation that goes hand in hand with quasi-military operations. The riots of November 2005, and in a different context, the social movements in the autumn of 2007, have already provided several precedents. The image of right-wing students in Nanterre applauding as the police expelled their classmates offers a small glimpse of what the future holds in store. It goes without saying that the attachment of the French to the state, the guarantor of universal values, the last rampart against the disaster, is a pathology that is difficult to undo. It's, above all, a fiction that no longer knows how to carry on. Our governors themselves increasingly consider it as a useless encumbrance because they, at least, take the conflict for what it is, militarily. They have no complex about sending in elite anti-terrorist units to subdue riots or to liberate a recycling center occupied by its workers. As the welfare state collapses, we see the emergence of a brute conflict between those who desire order and those who don't. Everything that French politics has been able to deactivate is in the process of unleashing itself. It will never be able to process all that it has repressed. In the advanced degree of social decomposition, we can count on the coming movement to find the necessary breath of nihilism, which will not mean that it won't be exposed to other limits. Revolutionary movements do not spread by contamination, but by resonance. Something that is constituted here resonates with the shock wave emitted by something constituted over there. A body that resonates does so according to its own mode. An insurrection is not like a plague or a forest fire, a linear process which spreads from place to place after an initial spark. It rather takes the shape of a music, whose focal points, though dispersed in time and space, succeed in imposing the rhythm of their own vibrations, always taking on more density, to the point that any return to normal is no longer desirable or even imaginable. When we speak of empire, we name the mechanisms of power that preventively and surgically stifle any revolutionary potential in a situation. In this sense, empire is not an enemy that confronts us head-on. It is a rhythm that imposes itself, a way of dispensing and dispersing reality, less an order of the world than its sad, heavy, and militaristic liquidation. What we mean by the party of insurgents is the sketching out of a completely other composition, an other side of reality, which from Greece to the French banlieue is seeking its consistency. Footnote: Banlieue are French ghettos usually located in the suburban periphery. Endnote. It is now publicly understood that crisis situations are so many opportunities for the restructuring of domination. This is why Sarkozy can